Today, we're taking a look at the KinGrinder K7. It's been quite a while since they released the K6, so when I saw the K7 was finally out, I bought one right away. In this video, I'll compare the K6 and K7, including their burrs, design, and how they perform for both pour-over and espresso. First, let's check out the unboxing. KinGrinder's packaging is pretty basic as usual, but honestly, that's totally fine. Most of the time, I don't keep product boxes anyway. Inside, you'll find a simple instruction manual with both Chinese and English versions. Here is the K7 grinder. We'll check out the details in a bit. You'll also get a wooden handle crank, exactly the same as the K6. There's a cleaning brush included, and that's everything you get in the box. In the small transparent bag attached to the manual, you'll find a white rubber ring. This is used to secure the crank onto the lid. If you don't want to drill, just remove this black rubber ring. Then you can easily attach the crank and the lid. The body has a nice matte metal finish. The color is similar to the K6, but seems a bit brighter. At the bottom, there's a non-slip pad, which is a new addition. The catch cup uses a magnetic design with a locking groove, making it convenient and stable. The catch cup can hold 35 grams of coffee grounds. The K6 uses a screw-on cup with similar capacity, but it has no anti-slip pad. So it's loud on the table, and there's barely any friction. The K7 has the pad, which makes things much better. The K7 looks quite similar to the K6. Both have external grind adjustment designs, similar colors, dimensions, lid, and handle. The grip pad on the body is quite different though. The K6's pad is much smoother with less friction. After not using it for a while, it can feel a bit sticky. The K7 switched to a textured pad with much more grip. The feel is quite different. Now for the grind settings. The K7 comes pre-calibrated to the 0 point right out of the box, which is awesome. One full rotation has 10 numbers, giving you 100 clicks total. The coarsest setting can go up to 125 clicks. This makes it so much easier to quickly locate your grind setting. The center ring is adjustable. Dial it to the tightest position, then align the center ring dot to 0 and you're calibrated. That's super easy. The K6 can rotate up to 4 full rotations. It seems like you get way more settings, but honestly, I rarely go past 2 rotations. And here's the thing, I can't calibrate it to the 0 point. Every time I take it apart and put it back together, the burrs touch at a different spot. It's just not as convenient. Now let's take a look at the K7's internal structure. To disassemble it, turn it to the coarsest setting, then you can push the burr upward. Now this fastener can rotate. Turn the dot to align with the flat side of the shaft, and you can pull out the shaft. Don't lose the fastener and bearing on top. Then remove the washer and spring, and it's fully disassembled. The whole process takes less than a minute. Inside, there are 3 bearings to ensure stable and smooth grinding. It's solid, so you don't need to worry about stability. The biggest difference is the burr. It's really quite different from the previous one, using a 7-sided design. It has a long crushing area for faster feed rate and very short cutting teeth. It looks really well made. The design is noticeably different from the K6. Size-wise, it's clearly larger than the K6's 48mm burr, and the burr geometry is completely different. I'm no expert on burr design, but generally, the K6's burr is more versatile. It grinds both filter and espresso at decent speed, but produces more fines. The K7 leans more toward pour-over, with less crushing and more cutting, which results in fewer fines. But honestly, these are completely different burr sets. By the way, a lot of people see me spray a bit of water before grinding and ask if the K6's burr has rusted. So far, it's been fine as long as you don't use too much water. Putting it back together is also much easier than the K6. Install the spring, and this washer has a front and back side. The raised side faces up. Insert the shaft, then put the top bearing on. You need to align one corner of the shaft with the dot on the fastener. This way it locks in place and won't fall out. Then you're done, and you don't even need to recalibrate. The K6's assembly is basically the same at first, but then it gets way more complicated at the end. I usually use a small cap to push up the burr, because you need to clip this tiny U-shaped clip into a really small groove to secure it. I'm used to doing it now, so it's okay for me, but otherwise it's really hard to align. Overall, it's still more complicated than the K7. Now let's see how it performs for pour-over. I'm using 15 grams of light roasted beans to compare these grinders. For the K7, I set the grind between 70 and 75 clicks. The weather's been dry, so I'm spraying a bit of water to cut down on static and retention. Let me time this. Grinding these harder light roasted beans, you need to grip the grinder a bit tighter, but it's not too much effort. It takes about 30 seconds total, which is pretty solid. There aren't many fines to start with, and after doing the RDT, there's hardly anything sticking to the bottom of the burr. Looking at the grounds, the consistency at this pour-over setting is really nice. When you rub it between your fingers, you can feel the particles, and there's not much powder sticking. I bloom for 30 seconds. First pour to 150, second pour to 230. Total brew time is around 2 minutes. No clogging at the end, and the aroma is fantastic. I've brewed this bean with the K7 many times. The clarity is always really high. You get these prominent berry notes with a hint of almond. Strong overall sweetness, moderate acidity that's not too sharp. Really enjoyable cup. With the K6, I'm at 80 clicks. Since it has 60 clicks per rotation and doesn't start at 0, adjusting it is honestly less convenient than the K7. Grinding the same beans, it feels pretty similar. No resistance issues, maybe just a touch faster than the K7. Grind consistency is also very good, though when you rub it, there are slightly more fines. Same recipe, but the drawdown takes a bit longer. What I notice with the K6 is the acidity is brighter, and there's more body. It's a livelier cup compared to the K7, but the flavors aren't quite as clean. I wouldn't say the K7 is always better than the K6 though. Some beans, I prefer how lively the K6 makes them. Other beans, I reach for the K7. They're just different. I've also tested the Espresso K Ultra for pour-over. It's actually closer to the K6 with that same lively acidity and higher complexity. Sweetness comes through a bit more, but it's still pretty different from the K7. The fact that KinGrinder can get you in this ballpark at half the price is pretty impressive. Finally, let's check out the Espresso Performance. I'm using 18 grams of coffee. For espresso, I'm definitely spraying some water. On the K7, I start at 32 clicks. Since these are medium dark roasted beans, grinding doesn't take much effort. Total time is 44 seconds, which is really fast. When you're using this every day, speed really matters. Even with the spray, there's still a bit of static, but it's much better. After a quick puck prep, the first shot flows a bit fast. It finishes in just 20 seconds. The espresso comes out watery and acidic. I go 1 click finer. Second shot takes about 3 seconds longer. This shot is actually drinkable now. Let me try going 2 more clicks finer. The grounds are noticeably finer this time. The K7 adjusts 15 microns per click, so you've got 2 or 3 clicks to play with for fine tuning. That's better than a lot of hand grinders. You won't drastically change your shot time with just 1 click. This one pulls 36 grams out in 32 seconds. For the K6, I'm at 33 clicks. It adjusts about 16 microns per click, which is also fine enough. Grinding feels pretty similar, also takes under 50 seconds. Both grinders have really solid grinding speed. I've used the K6 a lot for testing espresso. It works well with all kinds of espresso machines, and it's easy to dial in. This shot finishes in 25 seconds. Both the texture and flavor are really nice. Both grinders handle espresso really well. Easy to dial in, and you've got enough adjustment range to work with. So that's my experience with the K7 after using it for over a month. I think this one leans more toward pour-over, but can definitely handle espresso. Compared to the K6, there are some nice improvements and upgrades. Even if you already have the K6, it's worth trying the K7. You'll get a different flavor experience. If I had to choose between the two, I prefer the K7 for pour-over and the overall experience. I got mine in China for about $100 US. I'm not sure what the overseas pricing will be yet, but it should still offer solid value. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.